This Wednesday, playoff edition of Pucks Across Borders on Sports Addict Live and Total Apex Sports, brought to you by none other than First Round Collectibles. Right now, with our promo code Sports Addict, get 10% off whatever sports card you want in the entire store. They have an ongoing sale up to 50% off dozens of cards. And with the promo code Sports Addict, not only do you get 10% off of regular price items, but sales items as well. 10% off, up to 50% off with the sale. Use promo code Sports Addict for 10% off in regular priced items. That's the number one, STRoundCollectibles.com. First Round Collectibles, sports cards for sports fans.
Yeah. Let's go. We just gotta go hard. I go the hardest. I bring the pain. Not what you used to. It's all part of the game. Yeah. I just gotta go hard. I just gotta go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Yeah. Oh yeah, the beast back. Adrenaline pumping through my veins. Can't relax. Original. I am not the same as these cats. I sting them.
Welcome to Pucks Across Borders on a Wednesday morning, playoff edition. Bunch more game threes tonight, rather. One game two. Wow, I'm already butchering this right off the top. 2 game twos, 1 game three. Lots to talk about with regards to tonight, and lots to talk about with regards to the NHL last night. As always, I am Mark Sauter. It is wonderful to be here. And at the top of your screen, right next to me, you read his work about the NFL on Gridiron Heroics. You read his gambling picks on Winners and Winers. You see him all over Total Apex Sports, talking football, basketball, baseball, and you read his work about the NHL on TotalApexSports.com. Andre, how you doing on a Wednesday, bro? Good to see you.
It's good to see you, man. I'm going to ship you an inhaler soon. I think you talk all that long, but I'm doing pretty well.
Good, man. Big night for your boys last night. Rangers squeaking one out. So you're so far undefeated in the playoffs, man, between the Knicks and the Rangers. I don't want to jinx anything, knock on the proverbial wood, but must be a good feeling. At the bottom of your screen, he's back, rested up, ready to go. It is so good to see you. You read his work about the NFL on Gridiron Heroics. John, how are you feeling on a Wednesday, man? Welcome back.
Miss talking hockey with you guys. Playoffs look like they've been pretty crazy so far.
Yes, sir. So let's just dive right into it, Andre. Let's start with you, man. There's a million storylines coming out of the NHL throughout the day yesterday, not just in the evening, throughout the day, but of course on the ice as well. Andre, what do you got for your takeaway on a Tuesday night of playoff hockey?
Yeah, there was a ton that deserves mention from last night, but I'm going to use this space to worry about the Vancouver Canucks entering the series. Entering yesterday's game, the assumption was that Demko was healthy enough to be the goalie moving forward, not just for this series, but a potentially deep postseason run. I think with Demko in net, the three of us and most people would think that the Canucks could beat most teams in this playoffs. You're talking about a 7-game series, especially since they have the home ice advantage over most of the Western Conference. But Demko is not playing. They lost with Casey DeSmith is not a bad goalie by any means. He's just not Demko. And they lost the first game without him 4-1 on their home ice against a wildcard team in the Nashville Predators. Gave up 4 goals. First time all season they allowed the Predators to score more than 2 goals, regular season in game 1. And then kudos to the Predators. S.O.S hasn't been the sharpest lately. Still a good goalie, obviously. But they blocked, like, I don't remember the exact count. I'm pretty sure it was 348 shots last night. They were just blocking everything. It was absurd. You can look at the shots on goal and think it wasn't that lopsided. You look at the shot attempts in Vancouver, just could not get anything through those jerseys with that gigantic saber tooth on them. So, I mean, the Predators defense, they figured something out. Vancouver is now going to have to navigate the series with their backup goalie. I picked the Canucks to win this series. I kind of want to backtrack that now because without Demko, I just don't see it happening. So yesterday was a disaster for British Columbia's faithful team. And that's really my takeaway.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, like, you can say, well, obviously, Casey DeSmith is not as good as Thatcher Demko, but what you need him to be is better than S.O.S, and he's not, right? And I think one reason why I picked Nashville, and let me make this very clear, I love Vancouver. I've loved them all year. I want them to go deep. I want them to go far. I want them to win this series. But I picked Nashville just because Pettersson has looked like, ever since he signed that contract, he's looked he's been a ghost of himself out there. He's missing really good looks, just doesn't look engaged. It's just not the same guy. Quinn Hughes has been phenomenal these first two games. You've got a bunch of unsung heroes on Vancouver, like Garland, and JT Miller has had a phenomenal back half of the season and a good playoff so far. Besser. They got other guys, but Pettersson's just looked very lackluster to me, and that's really concerning. And you just watch this Vancouver team enough. We've been watching it for the last couple months without Demko. When he's not in the net, they play differently and not in a good way. And it is very, very concerning. So you're absolutely right. Big win for Nashville last night. John, what about you, man? What was your takeaway in the NHL last night?
I'll go with the battle with Florida and the Panthers coming up with an overtime win. It's just something that I'll point out there. The goaltending seems to be winning so far for the Panthers. They've held the Lightning to 2 goals in each of the first 2 games. So I think Florida's winning the important battles right now. The things where both of these teams have a strength, Florida in goaltending and Tampa in scoring, power play. Florida's been coming out on top so far, and if it keeps up, this isn't going to be a long series.
Yeah, it's interesting that you phrase it like that because, I do think we're going back to Tampa. They always say in the playoffs, right, there's nothing to be concerned about until you lose one at home, right? I butchered that saying, but there's basically it's all fine until you lose at home. You have nothing to be worried about. I do think that Tampa will bounce back, but I'll tell you what, man, the books have been taking my money because I thought Tampa Bay was going to win the first game, and they didn't. Thought they were going to win last night, and they didn't. The first overtime game, by the way, in the playoffs, which took a lot longer than I think we all expected. That save by Bobrovsky last night was absolutely insane. In recent memory, I don't think I've seen a nicer save in the last few years. That was unbelievable. I wish that I was the one who came up with this, but I saw on Twitter this morning someone called it highway bobbery, which I thought was one of the greatest sentences of wordplay that I've seen recently. So you're absolutely right, man. The goaltending really has stolen the show. For both of these games to go under, I think is really impressive for both sides. But Tampa is fine playing this style, Florida's fine playing this style, right? Just taking away space, taking away the ice, pushing Tampa to the outside. That's exactly what they've been doing, and they've been getting the wins. And for my takeaway, I guess, honorable mention to the Rangers. I thought that they would win by 2 or more goals last night. They almost did, but they got the victory. Ovi looks exhausted. It just feels like Washington pushed all their chips in the middle to get to the playoffs, and now they're here. I just don't. They're pushing back. They're trying. They're being physical, but I would be shocked if this game went longer than 5 games. My takeaway: you got to go to Winnipeg, right? Episode 2 of the Whiteout. After game 1, all of us were talking about Georgiev, and just you score 6 goals on the best goaltender in the world, and you lose that hockey game. Like, that is deflating, is an understatement to what that game 1 was. Gotta give the guy credit, right? Not only did he only allow 2, but Colorado was able to score 4, 1 empty netter. Game was 2-1 in the second period. Winnipeg, it was tied 1-1. Winnipeg killed off I think it was still tied 1-1 when Winnipeg killed off a 4-minute double minor. Got the goal, went up 2-1, and all the momentum was in Winnipeg's favor. The crowd was buzzing. Colorado was on their heels, and something just switched in Colorado's collective brain. And they just took over the game. They scored 3 goals in short order, going into the third period up 4-2. Any pushback that Winnipeg had, Georgiev was solid, man. He held it down. He had the bounce back game that they needed. Now they go back to Colorado, tied 1-1, and it's a brand new series. And I think that, even if they lost the game, you needed a game from Georgie. Like, you needed him to have a solid game. Even if you lost 2-1, 3-2, you needed him to have a bounce back performance, and he did, and they won. And that's exactly what they needed to do. Going to be really, really interesting to see. Colorado on the road is just above 500 this year, but at home, we're well aware of what they've done. Winnipeg, very good home team. They're a very good road team as well. Sorry, I had it pulled up here. Winnipeg at home, Winnipeg was 27-11-3, and on the road, they're 25-13-3. So Winnipeg's a very good road team. They crushed Colorado 7-0 in Denver just a couple weeks ago. So we'll see what happens with that. But that, I don't know, guys. Maybe you disagree, but to me, that's been the most entertaining series, maybe by far. Has been that series.
Easily.
Yeah, 100%. All right. With that, let's just move right on to the 3 games on the ice tonight. All right. I guess you guys are about to hear me talk for like 45 minutes straight, because the first game of the night is the Toronto Maple Leafs hosting Boston for Game 3. Toronto -112 at home. Boston -108 on the road. The over is 6 at -102. The under is -118. Plus 1.5 for the Bruins is -270. -1.5 for the Maple Leafs is plus 220. I can't remember what the exact odds were, but I saw this opening at plus money for Boston. So the fact that it's shifted this far to where it's almost even money, is really, really interesting to me. I got a lot to say about this game. So, Andre, I'm going to let you go first because I might not reel it in. So I'll let you go first on this one. What do you see in this game tonight between Boston and Toronto?
Yeah, ignore the fact that I'm wearing yellow with a black background. These aren't the big bad Bruins, like you've been saying. Like I think we've been saying since probably February, January. There's just something about this team that screams survival more than dominance. And
Yeah.
the weird part about this is the Maple Leafs, I don't know how to feel about them either. Because playing at home, I feel like it's tough for them sometimes, especially playoffs, Bruins, the pressure. You know, you win this game, you take a 2-1 lead. You think if you win both at home, like you're supposed to in the playoffs, take a 3-1 lead. Then it's one, the Bruins are one, not the Bruins, the Maple Leafs are 1 win away from advancing. But then it's two, the Maple Leafs are going to choke this away again. I feel like there's just no winning for Toronto these next 2 games. So it's a really precarious situation to be in, I'll say. If you're a fan, player, coach, GM, whatever. What I will say is that I feel like Toronto's big boys, for the most part, are stepping up. Matthews' 3-point game to take home the games who win 3-2 in Boston. Huge performance for him. I think he has more good performances in this series ahead. I don't see the Bruins style, or not style, but they're just kind of outweighting the Maple Leafs this series. It feels like they're just, letting the game happen, keeping them out of the net, trying to push them away. And then when they get the odd man rush, when they get the power play, whatever, that's when they strike. And I don't think that's sustainable for a 7-game series. It got them game 1. It got them in a dogfight game 2, even though they lost. The longer this goes on, the less successful that's going to be, you would think, because the Maple Leafs are applying most of the pressure. I'm going to take Toronto to win this game, and I think I'm going to stick with the under. I have not liked what I've seen from Boston's attack enough, and for as much pressure as the Maple Leafs are applying, it's still very tough to score on the Bruins. They have 2 great goalies. They have a nice defensive structure, a nice penalty kill. So I'm going to take the under again, but I think the Maple Leafs pull this one off also.
That's what I want to hear, man. And it's hard to ignore the fact that you're wearing yellow with a black background, but everything you said just washed all that away. White as snow. John, what do you got in this game, bro?
I like Toronto to win as well. Probably for the same reasons as Andre. Boston just isn't a team that scares me. And after losing by a decent amount in game 1, I thought game 2 was a nice statement win for Toronto. And now getting that momentum back into their home ice, I like their chances.
Yeah, so I got a couple axes to grind here. Number one, if you listen to the Toronto sports radio shows, it's actually been pretty even of concerns and optimism. It's been kind of a really good blend of both. Certain articles, though, in newspapers and headlines online, there's a lot of doom and gloom, even though they tied the series. The Toronto Sun, I was really disappointed. For the most part, I like the Toronto Sun for sport. Not that I don't know if anyone watching this is even from Toronto or would even care, but for the most part, I actually really like the Toronto Sun sports coverage. I was really disappointed, though, because after game 2, the cover page was a picture of Mitch Marner on the ice with no face. Basically just saying that Mitch Marner's been a ghost. And it's like, they just won the game. They just tied the series. And your front page is complaining about Mitch Marner. I was really disappointed by that. I think Austin Matthews has been the best player on the ice, period, for either team. Even game one, I thought he played really well offensively and defensively. And in the playoffs, you have a guy like Austin Matthews who offensively is an absolute game changer. It's not talked about enough. He's one of the best two-way forwards in the league. He's phenomenal defensively. And he really has showed that the last couple games. Now, he took over offensively. Tavares also got a goal in the last game. Max Domi got a goal and the amazing alley-oop pass to Matthews for the game-winning goal. So from that standpoint, the fact that Matthews has been the best player, I think, is really important because over the course of the last 7 playoff runs, he just hasn't been. And he needs to be for them to win. So I really, really like that. Samsonov had a phenomenal game the last game. There's no Allmark and Swayman tandem here. Okay, Joseph Wall's a good goalie, but he missed the majority of the year on the IR. So unless it's like dire straits, you're not going to Joseph Wall. Samsonov's your guy. I thought he played really well in game 2, and I thought in game 1 the Leafs really, really hung him out to dry, and the Bruins took advantage of that. So from that standpoint, I don't think Boston's played very well the last couple games. I think game 1, and I talked about this the other day, I think game 1, the Leafs made a lot of massive mistakes that Boston capitalized on. And I thought the other night, game 2, I didn't think they played that great either. One goal was a power play goal. And so, so to me, I don't think Boston's played that well. And I think from both sides of this, Toronto and Boston, neither team has played their best hockey yet. Neither team has really dominated any stretches of the game. So I think on both sides, you can look at that as a positive. Now, this is why I went last, because I do got to get this off my chest. Number 1, while I disagree with Mitch Marner with no face being a opening page article, I think is a joke because the Leafs won the game. So for that to be your big gripe is frustrating because other great things happened in that game. However, Mitch Marner has not played well this playoffs. And so you're coming back home. You're from Toronto. You're from here. You're hometown kid. You're one of the best wingers in the National Hockey League. You have to show up. You have to. So that is a concern and something that I am looking for in game number 3. The other is, where in the world is William Nylander? This William Nylander thing, I don't know how much you guys have been paying attention to this, but it is an absolute circus. We don't know if he's playing tonight. There's speculation that because the next game, game 4, isn't until Saturday night, there's speculation that he might not play tonight, have an extra 3 days off, and come back on Saturday. But it's hard to really speculate with accuracy when we literally have no idea what's happening with him. Is it upper body? Is it lower body? Is it discipline? What's going on? We have no idea. So that is something that we really need to look for moving forward. But all of that being said, thank you for listening. I had to air my grievances out there. All that being said, I think Toronto keeps it going tonight. I think that Boston is not the team that everybody is all scared of. Like you said, they're not the big bad Bruins anymore. Brad Marchand has not had a terrific series. And so I just think if Austin Matthews is the best player on the ice again, I think that they win this game. The fanboy in me really wants to take the -1.5 at +220, but I'll just stick with the money line at -112. And I like what you said too, Andre, about the under. I think this is absolutely an under. Neither team is really getting a lot of space out there, man. There's not a lot of high quality chances going either way. So I like the under as well. Leafs money line and the under. Moving on to Dallas Stars, game 2, hosting Vegas. Vegas up 1-0 in the series. Dallas is minus 162, was minus 166, now moved to minus 162. Vegas plus 136. The over is 6 at minus 102. The under is minus 118. Plus 1.5 for Vegas is minus 192. Minus 1.5 for the Stars is plus 160. I like the Stars to win tonight, but minus 162 again seems way too rich for my blood. John, what do you think about this game tonight in Dallas?
Yeah, I pretty much feel the same way. I like Dallas to win, but not by more than one. Um, I was considering the 60-minute line as maybe an alternative here, but I'm not 100% confident in that either. But I can understand why Dallas is a big favorite. I think as the top seed after losing game 1, many would probably expect them to respond strongly here. I'm just not sure if it'll be a multiple goal game. So I I might just stay away from betting this one entirely. I don't think there's a single side I really like here with like Dallas. Even the 60-minute line, I could see it going to overtime. Don't love that either. The total, I'm not really sure what to make of. So, yeah, betting wise, that's where I'm leaning on this.
What about you, Andre? What do you see here?
I'm not wavering. I'm doubling down. I think the Stars are the better team in this series, and the Golden Knights came out, punched them in the mouth in
Yep.
game, but the Stars fought back. The Stars brought it down to the wire, so they know not to take this Vegas team lightly. I think they should have known that before. I don't think they took them lightly per se, but you didn't know what was going to happen with Mark Stone back in the lineup. Vegas got a power play early. He cashed in. They had life, and Dallas just couldn't make up the ground. This time around, they score first. They keep the pressure on. They win. High-scoring game. I like the over again. But I'm going to take that Star 60-minute line. I truly believe they're the better team, and Ottinger will start making the saves that he can and needs to against this Vegas team. This won't be his playoff booking, man.
That's the question, right? It's like Colorado-esque vibes, except for that, like Ottinger is a way better goaltender than Georgie is. That's the real like thing here. Is like Ottinger's got to be Ottinger. He has to be. I'm right there with you guys though, and I'm with you, John, that they're gonna win, but I'm gonna double down too, and I'm gonna take that minus 1.5 again. I feel like that game got really out of hand the other night. I feel like every time Vegas scored, Dallas punched back, and then Vegas got another goal. And I think as long as they can just keep the momentum, not going back and forth, I think Dallas can win this game and win this game handedly. I think that while they did show pushback and they did fight to the end, I thought that it was a very lackluster performance overall by them. And I'm looking for them to completely push back and to win this game by multiple goals. I like the over. I don't know how much I would recommend it. I think based on last game, I think the over is an excellent play, and I'm surprised that it's not 6.5. I think the fact that it's 6 is the books just begging for a push. But to me, I like the over. I'm really confident in that minus 1.5 though. I plus 160. Also, this is the only game so far in the entire Stanley Cup playoffs that I really like a couple props. Yesterday, I really liked Quinn Hughes. I think that one just missed, right? Or did it end up hitting?
We
It did hit. I think Jonathan Marchessault plus 175 is a really good value for him to score. He scored the other night. Wyatt Johnston for Dallas being plus 190 He's had a really, really good season. I really like that value at plus 190. And listen, you can't make this stuff up. Mark Stone comes back from, LTIR just in time for game one. The miracle spleen is healed and he's back. And he scores the first goal of the series. He's plus 265 to score again tonight. So if you believe in magic and you believe in his spleen, which clearly Mark Stone has the best spleen in the National Hockey League. For that to be, top 3 spleen in the National Hockey League, to be ready to go. So plus 265 for him to score. Why not? All right, moving on. Moving on to the Los Angeles Kings, Edmonton Oilers. Kings could not keep up for the life of them against Edmonton on Monday night. Another shot, another kick at the can, if you will, tonight. Edmonton minus 192 favorites at home. Plus 160 are the Kings on the road. The over is 6 at minus 112. The under is minus 108. Plus 1.5 for the Kings is minus 155. Minus 1.5 for the Oilers is plus 130. John, what do you see in this game tonight?
Looking at game one, there were 11 combined goals in that game, 7 of which scored by Edmonton. I would be very surprised if something like that happens again, even by this Oilers team. I think this Kings team is too good defensively and too prideful to allow that type of performance to happen in 2 straight games, which is why the total is a tempting number for me here. I'm not going to say the Kings are going to sit here and win this game outright, but I think this game will be much lower scoring this time than game one. So me personally, I would be looking at an under 6 play here. And I'll double down and say it's my favorite play tonight.
So best bet nomination? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, essentially. Like I said, I think this Kings team is too good defensively to allow that type of performance to happen again. They're one of the best goaltending teams in the NHL. The 6 being total is a risky play when the Oilers are involved, but I have some faith in this Kings team, at least a little bit.
Yeah. Well, you know what, man? Like, to me, game one in Edmonton, the theater that this Edmonton Oilers season has given us is just remarkable. Like, to the start that they had, to the way they bounced back, was right there to win the division in the last couple weeks. Lost to Vancouver on the last weekend of the season, which kind of took that dream away. They're at home. They're juiced up. McDavid, listen, when McDavid decides to get 5 assists and Hyman gets a hat trick, there's nothing you can do. That was their night and they got after it. I think I agree with you with the under. Like you said, it is risky when you have some of the best players in the world on the Oilers. But I'm with you, man. I think that the goaltending I'm less strong on than you, but I've said this for weeks. When they play well defensively, they have a really, really good defensive structure. That 1-3-1 that they play is really, really good. And so to me, I'm with you. I think their defense was extremely lackluster. I think that the Oilers had a night. I do think the Oilers win. I like the 60-minute line at minus 115. And even if the under does hit, I kind of like I don't know if I necessarily recommend the minus 1.5 at plus 130 for the Oilers. But I'm looking at it for sure. So I'll lean under. But I like that 60-minute line. I think the Oilers get the win again tonight, and I think they do it in 60 minutes. Andre, what do you got for this game, bro?
I agree with John that the Kings are going to be better defensively, be better in net for this game, get more stops. However, I don't think they have enough firepower to get past the Oilers. So I'm still going to take Edmonton to win this game. I think I'm just going to take that 60-minute line instead of the puck line like last game. And it's simply, I just don't trust LA scoring-wise. We've seen it all season. They dry up very quickly. I know they scored 4 goals in game 1, but they needed all 4 of those goals to make it seem like it was competitive because it wasn't. Yeah. When LA tightens up defensively and finds ways to limit Edmonton tonight, it's just going to mean that their offense suffers and that the Oilers will end up with the 2 goals, 3 goals, whatever that make the difference and give them the win. So I'm going to take the under, and I'm still going to take Edmonton. I'm just going to take the 60-minute line.
Yeah, and I mean, those goals, dude, that was a whole bizarre situation. Like, one of those goals, I think it was CC, his stick just, like, disintegrated, and the puck went right to the Kings player. Like, there were just some weird things that happened towards the end of that game. That game was, like, 6-2 with, like, 4 minutes left. You know what I mean? And so a couple garbage goals at the end, but I'm right there with you. All right, let's move on to our best bets, brought to you by none other than First Round Collectibles. Right now with our promo code Sports Addict, get 10% off whatever sports card your heart desires across the whole store. They have an ongoing sale up to 50% off dozens and dozens of cards. And with our promo code Sports Addict, not only do you get 10% off of regular priced items, but sales items. If you do the math in your head, that means you can get up to 60% off any sports card in the store, depending on the sale, of course. So go to firstroundcollectibles.com today. Use promo code SportsAddict for 10% off any card in the store. That's the number one, STRoundCollectibles.com. First Round Collectibles, sports cards for sports fans. Well, we already have best bet, the under for John, who had to dip off here a little early. Under 6 at -108 is John's best bet. Andre, what's your best bet?
Oh, man. Do I stick with the pressure's mounting now? I'm perfect in this postseason.
You're doing great, man.
Yeah, and I've really... Well, first of all, we're, 75% in the postseason so far?
Yeah, we swept the parlay last night.
Swept it yesterday. We swept it Sunday.
Yeah, man.
One wrong Monday and Saturday. We're killing it.
Playoff form. We're in playoff form right now.
Absolutely.
That's what this is.
We put the razors away and we locked in.
That's right.
I don't know if I should.
I razors away months ago, but I'm with you.
Hey, me too. You just can't tell. Yeah, today is probably the trickiest one. And I think I'm going to dip back into the well one more time. Slightly worse, or again, not worse, I guess slightly higher odds, less likely to happen. Talking about this over again. But Avs Jets, the over didn't scare me yesterday. Shout out to the Avs for scoring 5 goals, and I needed all of them for that over to hit. Golden Knights Stars over 6 is -102. The odds are actually worse than game 1.
Ooh.
Game 1 finished with 7 goals. I'm sticking with it. I just expect scoring in that series from both sides. So over 6 -102 in Dallas. At worst, that's probably going to be a push, but I have faith that they can get 7 goals again.
So Austin Matthews, to get over 4.5 shots, he has 13 shots in the first 2 games of this series. For him to get over 4.5 shots is -160. And I want to ladder that up to like 6-7 shots. As far as the best bet goes, that's a little bit aggressive, but you can get him 6+ shots is plus 130, 7+ shots is plus 240, and he's averaged just below 7 shots a game over the course of the first 2 games. So just a little like honorable mention, 7+ shots for Austin Matthews is plus 240. And I really, really don't hate it. However, for my best bet tonight, I don't know. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling a little risky. I don't, when it comes to the other games, like, oh man, Andre, I need your leadership here, bro. Am I doing the Dallas Stars 60-minute line, which I think is what we both picked, and I think it is a very good pick. But I mean, listen, man, Vegas came out storming the other night. In the playoffs for the Maple Leafs, one consistent thing, John Tavares is a playoff performer, and he scores big goals in big moments. He did last year. He did the other night. I think I'm picking. Well, I was going to pick a John Tavares anytime goal, but all the Leafs were just taken off my DraftKings. Do you have a John Tavares anytime goal?
The same thing just happened to me.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm a spiritual man. I think the good Lord's talking to me. John Tavares is not the right pick. So I'm going to go because it just literally disappeared off of my DraftKings screen. So I'm going to go with the Dallas 60-minute line. And if it loses, just know it wasn't me. You can pray to the Lord and you can talk to him about it because I'm taking this as a sign. Give me Dallas 60-minute line minus 115. Whenever those odds come back on the screen, though, I really do like John Tavares to get a goal, but I'll pick Dallas minus 115 on the 60-minute line.
So 2 things. 1, Dallas 60-minute line is now minus 105, so a little bit better odds. Okay. 2, they still have John Tavares first goal scorer and last goal scorer.
I know.
So weird. They took off all the shots and all the anytime goal scorers for the Leafs and all the like points props. So Nylander returning ? Is that what that means?
Oh, very astute of you. That whole situation's driving me insane. Like, I just want to know. Like, yesterday, we knew Thatcher Demko out for tonight. He's week to week and might not play in this series. Done.
Yep.
All the speculation's out the window. All the noise is quiet because we know. With William Nylander, we have no idea. No idea. And it drives me crazy. But anyway, carry on.
Yeah, I'm going to have to finagle here because I'm not allowed to same game parlay Star 60-minute line yet. But what I will tell you is that Star 60-minute line is minus 105. The under 6 in Kings Oilers is minus 108. The over 6 in Golden Knights versus Stars is minus 102. A traditional 3-leg parlay with those odds plus 645. I'd have to imagine that same game parlay Stars with the over. It probably dips down a little bit to 5 something, but that's what we're working with here.
All right.
Until Tavares comes back and exists on DraftKings again.
Yeah, that's insanely frustrating. I'm just going to double check it one more time. Yeah, still gone. Super weird. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. As always, whether you're joining us live or throughout the day, we appreciate you. Go to totalapexsports.com for lots of great articles covering every single series in the NHL. Head over to Total Apex Sports YouTube and Twitter. Lots of sports talk live all day on that page. Tomorrow morning, we will be back to break it all down. Head over to firstroundcollectibles.com. Promo code Sports Addict for 10% off regular price and sales priced items. Andre, have a wonderful day. Enjoy the rest of your day. Got lots of great games tonight. Was so good having John back. We're back, baby. 2 sweeps in 3 days. We're feeling it. Thank you guys again so much. We'll see you all tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.